Hello and welcome to Ginny's Gin live stream. This is our first live stream in September, and the garden is absolutely full of tomatoes. We're up to our ears in tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Well, we're going to come to that. I'm Ginny, welcome, and my husband Rob. He and I, together with our dear friends Amy and Jeff Close, we founded Ginny's Gin a few years ago. So the tomato obviously is very versatile and it can be used in so many different things with cooking, and eating it is great obviously, but drinking it is even better. Obviously botanically, as everybody knows, a tomato is a fruit, it's actually a berry, but because of its umami, you know, it can be equally sweet as it can be savoury. So most people think of tomato juice and cocktails as being some kind of Mary, a Bloody Mary. And you know, definitely a Bloody Mary has its place. We all love that. Sometimes it's a hair of the dog, sometimes it's a brunch cocktail, or it's something that you have for lunch when you're on the ski slopes and you're stopping in for a quick something, pick me up. But these cocktails that we're doing today are a little bit more elegant than that. We've got three different cocktails. Tomatoes originally came from South America, where their Aztec name was, it actually translates into, and I don't know if you knew this, it translates into plump thing with a navel. So there we go. And I think what that was partly was they were actually the size of peas when they first started harvesting them, and then they started to plump them up with water so that they, obviously went from there. Okay, so without further ado, the first one I'm going to do, I'm actually going to muddle, I've got 6 cherry tomatoes in the bottom here. I'm going to muddle them to release their juices, but the other 2 cocktails that we're doing, we're actually using tomato water. Rob's going to explain how he does that with his cocktail, and if you saw our post, he actually had lots of photos explaining how to do it. So here we go, elegant tomato cocktails. The first one I'm going to call You Say Tomato, I Say Tomato. All right, so that's the name of my cocktail. So here I go, I'm going to muddle 6 of the cherry tomatoes, fresh out of the garden. And of course it's going to be incredibly hot here this next week, unprecedented heat wave. And so we're trying to pick them like crazy because they're probably not going to survive some of that heat. All right, so a little muddling there, and then I'm going to take Ginny's Gin, obviously, and I'm going to add 3 ounces of Ginny's Gin. Ooh. Well, this is, because I have a large coupe, I'm going over a little bit. So 3 ounces of the gin. 2, I want to be able to fill the glass, obviously. 3. There we go. Thank God it's Friday. Okay. There's the gin. And then the lemon, so fresh lemons. These are actually Meyer lemons. I'm just gonna squeeze out, and I'm gonna do 1 ounce of the fresh lemon. And this is, oh shoot, I should be measuring it. That's okay, we've got a little extra. There we go. All right. And I'm gonna need this one too. They smell really good. Mm-hmm. And they're really juicy.
They're really good ones.
They're really good ones. Thank you, Oliver's Market, for those. All right, there's my 1 ounce of lemon juice, a little extra. And let's pop that over there. And then this one, so this is a very savory cocktail, similar to a Bloody Mary in that. I have some dill pickle, and I'm just going to use the brine from the dill pickle. So I'm going to take ½ ounce of the brine. Okay, there's that, and I'm going to strain that too because there's a little bit of stuff on that. There's the brine, and then it calls for some hot sauce. I have some Tapatio. There we go. So
some Frank's in there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was good, that recipe we had, wasn't it? Okay, so a couple of dashes, and then a pinch of salt. Just a little pinch. So as I say, it's very savory, this one. And then I'm just going to add in the ice, and I'm going to shake it up, and we'll strain it. So let's do 3 ice cubes. Maybe 1.
3?
No, really 1, just for the hell of it, because it's really hot out there. Okay. Here's my lid. Okay. give it a good old shake so it's nice and cold. Normally my glass would obviously be chilling in the freezer, but I have it out here because I'm in front of you. So keep everything cold in the freezer when you're making cocktails. It's pretty cold now. Pretty colour. Okay, the versatile tomato. It's a really nice colour too. Okay, so we're going to take this glass here. You know, you could actually rim this with salt. You could rim it with
Celery salt.
pepper and salt, celery salt. That would be kind of fun. I haven't done that, but it's certainly a thought. And I'm going to double strain it.
You could dehydrate some tomato and put it in a spice blender, make a tomato powder, spice, salt, sugar, rim.
There we go.
Yeah.
Get very sophisticated. Pretty colour. And, I mean, this is almost like soup, really, isn't it? It's very good for you.
Gin soup.
Yeah. Talking of which. Alright, so there's that. Everything out. Perfect. Okay, and I am going to garnish it with just another little cherry tomato from the garden. That's going to stay on there. Yeah, there we go. Alright, you say tomato, I say tomato. So that's the first one. And the second one is so easy, I wanted to just show you this one because what I did earlier is I took half a watermelon and
Small one.
half a small watermelon. It's probably about two pound watermelon. And then I took, I think it was like 3 big tomatoes. So I chopped everything up and put it in the blender. So it was all nicely blended. I think I had a little salt to it as well. Yes, I put a pinch of salt in there. And then I put it through a very, what do you call those nets, sort of, it's a straining net basically.
Yeah.
And you hang it over a bowl and you collect, so all the solids are left behind and you collect.
It's a nut milk.
It's called
bag.
a nut milk bag, there you go, nut bag. So let's see, this one, as I say, very, very simple.
You can use a strainer with some cheesecloth too.
Yeah, cheesecloth, there you go, that's easy. If you have that at home, yeah, just whatever you have at
Some
home.
nylons.
Nylons? Okay.
Clean.
Clean nylons. Always good when they're clean. Okay, as I say, very simple. This one I'm going to call, what am I going to call this? September in a glass, because the watermelon's in season, the tomatoes in the season. Alright, so, actually, so it was 4 large tomatoes that I put in there. 1 ounce of Ginny's gin. Again, it's a large glass, so I think I'm going to do 2. Here we go. Our glasses are so big, I don't know what that is. I think in the bars the glasses are smaller because they want to obviously use less product. Is that what it is? Okay, 2 ounces of gin, and then this is my watermelon tomato water that I made earlier, and I'm going to use 3 ounces. So I did 2, so 6 ounces of this. That's my thing. So it's a 3-to-1 ratio basically. 2. Another pretty colour, isn't it? And it actually, you know, you get quite a bit of water out of it. What did you say tomatoes are? What, like 90% water or something? 2, 4, 6. There we go. This would probably make 2 cocktails, but I just want to make sure I can fill that glass. There we go. And I'm going to add ice, and I'm just going to stir it until it's cold.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So stir it. It's nice and cold. Who knew you could do all these things with tomato? Okay, I think that's nice and cold. And where's my strainer? There it is. Okay. Perfect. There we go. I'm going to strain it again into what would be a chilled glass. This is September in a glass. There we go, and that's a martini basically. It's a tomatini. How do we pronounce that? All right.
Tomatini.
Tomatini. There you go. So Rob now is going to make his cocktail, and it's a bit more sophisticated than mine because he's going to go through the process of how he made the water. Okay. Cheers.
Okay, hi everybody. So, tomato water. So the basic recipe for tomato water is just take some. I used these beautiful little French. It's a French variety of. They're like a medium size. They're so balanced, sweet and acidic. But so you just basically put a little X on the tops, drop them in boiling water for like maybe 20 seconds until they start to curl, and then you peel them and then quarter them. And then I cut the core out after I quarter them. Some people core them before they boil them, but I think that makes them watery, so I don't like that. And then once they're quartered, throw them in a blender, give it a quick pulse, pour that in a pan, bring it to a simmer. The minute it comes to a simmer, go ahead and turn it off, and then you can pour it through cheesecloth. I use our nutbag. And then I got about 8 ounces of water out of about 6 medium-sized tomatoes. So that's the tomato water. And then what I did was I froze it into 1 ounce ice cubes. So those standard ice cube trays, the white plastic ones, those are 1 ounce. And so for my drink, and I know that Jenny's gonna grab my nicely chilled glass for me.
Yes, I am.
So what I'm going to do is consistent with last week where I did a juice shake, and I talked about how watermelons and strawberries and certain juices are watery. And so if you freeze them, they can become the ice that then melts as you shake up your drink. Otherwise, you'll have too watery of a drink. And so I did that with this tomato as well. So we're going to use 3 ounces, but 3 ounces of frozen ice would take a long time to shake it until it all diluted. So I'm going to put in 2 ounces in frozen form, and then I have Jenny, I had my other little cup right here, 1 ounce of juice. Did I put it back in the fridge?
What does it look like?
Well, I had it right here. It's a 1 ounce white ramekin of tomato juice.
Okay, so here in the fridge.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, so basically the total of this tomato water is 3 ounces. So 1 ounce that's not frozen, and then 2 ounces in the ice cube version. And then we're gonna balance it with 3/4 of an ounce of there we go. I can even use Ginny's so yeah, it's boy, that's almost 3/4 of an ounce with 1/2 of a lemon. They're really juicy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
There we go. 3/4 of an ounce. I also put a pinch of salt in the tomato just as I was simmering it, so it already has saline. And then a little bit under a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. And that's our drink. And when I made this the other day, usually I play around quite a bit to come up with what makes a really great drink. And this was really, really good, just like this, the very first thing that I made. And I was surprised at like how crazy good the aromas are, and how frothy it is on the top, and then how tasty it is. It's a really, really nice drink. So you have to shake this till the ice cubes melt. So it does take a little bit of effort. In the meantime,
Come on yourselves.
yeah. Uh-oh, they're pretty cold. I could be here for like 20 minutes.
So the scientific name for tomato is how do you say it? Lycopersicum. Anyway, what it means is wolf peach. Lyco is wolf, and persicum is peach. There you go.
Come on, it's almost there.
Excellent. Keep going.
Okay, the other thing is I took a couple of cherry tomatoes and I just did the same trick where I put a little X on the top and then I peeled the skin off. So that would be like even cuter as a garnish inside our glass. You could also garnish with basil, but we've been doing so much with basil lately, we thought it would be clean and tomatoey.
Rob's idea also was that you could put those in the freezer
And keep your drink cold.
Yeah, so there would be frozen peeled tomatoes.
So
Tomatoes.
I don't think I'm going to strain it because if it's a little slushy, that's awesome.
Fine. Yeah, okay.
And it's a little bit of a short one this time. I guess I should have made an ounce and a drink and a half to fill the glass,
It
but
smells really good.
that's the cocktail. And
Yeah.
it is very, very cold. It's like an icy, actually, this particular one.
Nice.
So there it is.
Yeah,
That's
I like
the Rob's Ginny's Gin Tomato Water Cocktail.
It is Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day weekend to everybody. Stay cool if you're here in California. It's damn hot. Make sure that you make your cocktails with Ginny's Gin and make them icy cold.
Oh, and the variety of these French tomatoes are Donna, and
Yeah.
that is one of my favorite tomatoes. They're absolutely delicious.
Donna.
Donna,
There you go. Cheers to Donna.
cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Happy Labor Day. That's very clean. The watermelon with the tomato.
Yeah.
The tomato and the watermelon really go well together. It's a good pairing. Cheers.
It's a little more. The other day it wasn't quite this slushy. Yeah, it's really good though.
No, it's good. Yeah, yum.
Tomato.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye bye.